Hey guys, welcome back to The Binger. We would all like to think the members of the Justice League are thicker than thieves, wouldn't we? However, that's just not the case. When it comes to Bruce Wayne and Barry Allen, these two are like chalk and cheese. They might be on the same team, but that doesn't mean they're bros for life. In fact, they barely know each other, let alone like each other. Do you think they're best buddies? Think again. Batman lures him in on a false promise. When most of us think of Bruce Wayne, we think of a tortured man that's trying to inject some good into the world. He's hardly the life and soul of the party, at least when he's being Batman. He is pretty good at turning on the charm, though.
Barry Allen. Bruce Wayne.
When Bruce first meets Barry, Barry isn't exactly living a charmed life. He's a young guy that really doesn't know how to deal with his superpowers. Let's face it, it must be kinda terrifying to have these abilities and not know how to control them fully. Barry is just bouncing around from place to place, squatting and trying to get by. So when billionaire playboy Bruce Wayne enters the place and tries to recruit him, he has nothing to lose. For his part, Batman didn't really know what the team were up against, but he knew Barry's down and out position. Did Bruce play on that, knowing that he would likely get Barry to join the team without too much trouble? We'll let you decide on that one. Batman didn't care Barry had no experience. Let's take a minute to look at the credentials of the rest of the Justice League. Of course, you've got Batman, who's a Gotham crime-fighting whiz that has been at this superhero thing for years. Then you got Wonder Woman, an Amazonian princess that can throw a punch better than any guy. Superman, who can fly through the air at the speed of light and is generally a pro at opening a can of whoop-ass. And he's also, Superman. That's just to name a few. While Barry does have impressive powers, his resume is hardly as extensive as his peers. In fact, it's virtually non-existent. When Bruce went to recruit Barry, he wasn't even 100% sure what the youngster could do, but he was willing to take a gamble.
I know you have abilities. I just don't know what they are.
On one hand, it's nice that he had faith in this up-and-comer. But on the other, it was a tad irresponsible. Barry wasn't in a position to say no, so he went along for the ride. There must have been a moment where he thought, what have I got myself into? It's a giant leap for a kid used to flying solo. The Flash straight up lies. Just to get one thing straight here, we are not putting all of this on Batman. We love The Dark Knight. He's arguably one of the best characters out there, both in the comics and on screen. Well, unless we're counting that time George Clooney played him in the 90s, but that's best forgotten. Anyway, the point is that he's usually a decent guy and a great hero that we can get behind. Does he go and recruit a kid not really knowing what he can do? Yes, but Barry isn't entirely innocent. When he thought he was talking to your average rich dude Bruce Wayne, he wasn't interested and tried to play off his powers as nothing. However, as soon as Bruce revealed his true identity, it was an entirely different story. Barry said yes to what Bruce was planning without even being told what it was.
Stop right there. I'm in.
If he'd really talked it out with Batman, then Bruce might have realized that the kid was not anywhere near ready for what they were about to do. Time is always of the essence in these movies, but in reality, it should have gone down a little differently. That way, the pair might have had a more solid foundation for a true friendship. Batman is rich and snobby. It's no secret that Barry's living arrangements are whack. No one wants to live in an abandoned warehouse. Yes, he has his computers and his gadgets, but what about the comforts of home? Where's the PlayStation or the fridge full of delicious snacks? Where's Mom dropping by to do the laundry every Sunday? On the flip side, Bruce Wayne has everything he could hope for and more. Well, except for the parents. Aww. Regardless, he's supremely rich beyond our wildest dreams. Surely Barry knows that. If you were in the Flash's position, it would be hard to see everything that Wayne has and not want a slice of that pie. After all, would it be totally insane for Bruce to throw Barry a few $1,000 to help him get back on his feet? He wouldn't miss it, and it would help Barry to no end. Surely, Barry's got to be thinking that if Bruce Wayne really cared about him as a person, he'd at least set him up in a new apartment. They say that money and friendships never mix well, but something tells us that Barry would love the opportunity to prove that wrong. Flash didn't communicate. To give Barry his due, he does well in most aspects of Justice League, despite being a novice. You can't expect a first-time batter to step up to the plate and knock it out of the park, though. In Batman v Superman, Barry drops in for a quick cameo. Despite all of his pep and speed, he still needs to work on his communication skills. Maybe it's because he's not still used to being a team player and hasn't really been around people in a while. When he travels back in time to warn past Bruce about Superman possibly going rogue, he's clear as mud. Instead of saying, "Yo, Bruce, my man, if Lois Lane croaks, Superman is going to go nuts," he just says a load of really vague stuff.
It's Lois! It's Lois Lane!
Bruce ends up more confused than ever and is left trying to piece the message together, which isn't easy. When it comes to relaying a message, Barry gets an F-. Did Barry not care enough to pre-plan what he wanted to say, or was he just too flustered? Either way, this did nothing for their relationship. Batman hurts the Flash's feelings. Bruce Wayne is a man with the best technology in the world at his disposal. Not only does he have top scientists working on things for him, he's also got a great brain and is able to invent things himself. He's never had that much trouble in the suit department, and always turns up to the fight looking fly. That being said, it's only natural that one of the first things he talks about when meeting Barry is his suit. Considering how poor Barry is and how he isn't a billionaire playboy, his suit isn't half bad. "This isn't RuPaul's Drag Race, Wayne." He doesn't strictly say anything that's super mean, but he does raise a cynical eyebrow as he talks about what the suit is made of. Barry's feelings could easily have been hurt if he took it to heart. It's a project that he's worked hard for to try and bring to fruition, but of course it's not going to be as good as anything Bruce can muster up. It's another case of the have and have-nots, which is a significant barrier between these two heroes from different sides of the tracks. Batman stalks him. If you're going to recruit a band of heroes to fight an unstoppable force, you gotta do some research, right? You can't just run to the closest Walmart and pick up a few checkout kids. When Bruce was looking at recruiting Barry, he really looked into his background in a way that Barry could have found very invasive. Unlike the comic, where the team was a result of right time, right place, the movie sees Bruce purposely assemble this gang. After stealing some info from Lex Luthor, Bruce finds Barry by bribing a prison guard to get to his dad. His motives might be honorable, but his methods are kind of questionable. Surely there are other ways and means to get things done that aren't quite as sneaky. He is Bruce Wayne after all, but hey, Batman was too focused on saving the world to think about a silly thing like someone else's feelings. He wasn't intentionally being a douche, but sometimes it just works out that way.
Watch out.
Batman tries to hit him. As you might have guessed, the way Bruce and Barry meet has a lot to do with how their friendship plays out in the long run. When the Dark Knight is trying to convince Barry to spill the tea, Barry is busy dodging questions. For whatever reason, he doesn't want Bruce Wayne to know that he has all these powers and abilities. You can't really blame him, as Bruce is an incredibly powerful, influential man. And Barry doesn't know what his true intentions are. In a bid to make him show what he can do, Bruce throws a batarang at him at full force. Of course, Barry steps out of the way faster than the speed of light, but that's one heck of a gamble. Bruce didn't know for sure that Barry would move out of the way. He must have had a good inkling, but there was nothing certain there that said he would be right. What if Barry was just a kid with some serious computer skills? How would that have worked out? Spoiler, not well. There's no bond. Batman isn't exactly the kind of guy that you'd invite around for family dinner. He's not overly warm with anyone really, but he does seem to interact with the other members of the crew on a deeper level. He has a few touching moments with Wonder Woman, and we all know about his on-off relationship with Superman. However, that level of mutual recognition doesn't seem to exist between Barry and Bruce. Maybe it's just because their backgrounds are so different. Or maybe it's an age thing. After all, Barry is super young, and Bruce is older and long in the tooth when it comes to saving the world. At best, all Barry gets is a few jokes here and there. From Barry's point of view, it must get a little bit annoying to constantly be on the outs of an inner circle. Bruce did seek him out, but there's just no friendship there. There's no respect. In order to really grasp the on-screen relationship between Barry and Bruce, you've got to compare it to the comics. In the source material, Batman doesn't seem to be nearly as standoffish with the Flash. In fact, he clearly has a lot of respect for him, as Barry's background in forensics is fascinating. When producers moved these two from the page to the big screen, this mutual respect was lost. It's a darn crying shame, But maybe this is what works best in movies. Instead of being introduced as a fully formed character with a scientific background, we got an entry-level Barry. That's not a bad thing, but it does change the dynamic between the characters. Frankly, they're just not on par with each other and will never be on the same level. Without respect, there's just no way they could ever properly bond. And there you have it, kids. What do you think? Are these two destined to be frenemies in the DCEU, or are they just getting to know each other? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. But before you go, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn your notifications on. Thanks a lot for watching.